3 against 4. Just eat the goddamn spinach. So, simple math, spread out. The thing is that it tends to be very fast. And what is it? That's what we're working on. They are at once on separate timelines and on the same timeline. And what I mean by that is this. Remember, you have your timeline. This is our, whatever our beat is. We can call this an eighth note. We could call it a quarter note. We could call it a half note. Anything you want. In this particular case, it's a half note. Okay? So the top hand is a quarter note triplet. The bottom hand are straight eighth notes, followed by, which both of those equal a half note, right? Each of them equal a half note. And then you have a half note after that. So all we're trying to do is decipher that. So if we call the half note our unit of measure, basically, because we're dividing a half note into 2 different divisions. So we're dividing a half note into 3 parts, which is our quarter note triplet, and we're dividing a half note into 4 parts, which is eighth notes, right? So forget about the labels now, because that is confusing. In Western music notation, the labels make rhythm. It was designed in a time when rhythm was a lot simpler in Germany for Bach, which was just basically 3 levels generally. It was like eighth notes, quarters, and halves, or sixteenths, eighths, and quarters, kind of a deal, and maybe halves. You know, so he just kind of went back and forth between those subdivisions. Debussy's a bit later. Rhythm, when you learn to see it, it's not that big a deal, but it's not the most efficient system for that. Anyway, judgments aside, I could never think of a better one. But anyway, I think it's a pretty brilliant system. Okay, focus. So what you see here is very much zoomed in. Remember this, we're under a microscope right now. And on the top line is your quarter note triplet. On the bottom line are your eighth notes. Now, something that's a bit counterintuitive, normally we think of eighth notes as 1 and 2 and 3. But in this case, if we alter our perception a little bit, then we can sneak in the quarter note, or the quarter note triplet, right? Because like fractions, if we zoom in enough, we see that they have a common denominator, a common pulse within the pulse, right? So if you look at this whole thing here, that's a half note. That's the half note we're talking about. And then after that, that would be where the next half note is, right? Mm-hmm. I'll just write that half note and then half note, all right? And if you notice, I have figured out the division of this half note. If we divide this half note into 12 equal parts, then both the eighth note and the quarter note triplet will fit on that timeline, okay? On that subdivision. And it looks like this. What's counterintuitive about it, remember with the eighth notes, we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and, which is a 2-beat subdivision, right? Which would be 8 parts. This is 12. And it's an eighth note every 3 beats. The bottom is the eighth notes. Eighth note every 3 beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Mm-hmm. And don't worry, this is just, we're zooming in. Once you get this in your brain and in your heart, it will work. It'll just happen. Okay? We have to learn to say it first. You got to get it in your muscle memory, then you're fine. So, the quarter note quarter note triplet is, again, triplet, you think 3. So it's counterintuitive, but to get 3 of those in a 12-beat cycle, you have to do 4s, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And all that to say, if you practice this, if I have clap. Give me this. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was it. Do it again. Slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Trust me, that's this. I swear to God. Okay? What you need to do, you start at that level. If you start, this is micro. We're in a microscope. We really zoomed in. Start there with the metronome. Yeah, so if I'm going da 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, give me this one. 1, 2. It's almost like a melody now. Eat the goddamn spinach. I don't know why that's funny, but anyway, we used to say that. So, here. You start at that level, and you slowly move it up. That was quick, but you get the idea. Yeah. That's how fast it has to be. Sounds different when you spread it out, but that's what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A couple of exercises to prepare for that. Just take your metronome. If you have your metronome, be able to split it in 2s and 3s. Just go back and forth, and then 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That kind of thing. Just go back and forth between those three. Is the other way to attack this. Because you're doing a very even 4-beat subdivision and an even 3-beat subdivision at the same time. How's the other? Because your right hand is playing the triplet. Yeah. Can't do it. Anyway, and in that it's a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. Do that.